Okay, hello everyone. Mike and Corey here today. We're going to cover exciting news, more tariff talk. I'm sure you're like, oh, I'm starting to have tariff fatigue. We're hoping the market gets tariff fatigue at some point, but it's moving around a little bit based on that. Then what you're really waiting for is the first update for any of you that entered the financial March Madness for Ankerstar Wealth. I'm going to give you yesterday's scores, who advanced and who was eliminated from our contest. And then Corey's going to talk about some IPOs. You remember the new stocks coming out. What's going on with those. So anyways, this is a financial education presentation. You must do your own due diligence on anything that you hear in this presentation. More disclaimer information can be found on ankerstarwealth.com, and the opinions expressed are mine and Corey's alone. So we'll start off on the latest tariff news. And I know April 2nd is I can't remember what they're calling it, tariff deadline or whatever. Supposedly April 2nd is like a big day. But anyways, what Trump came out with yesterday was that there would be tariffs on 25% on any automotives that are made outside the United States. And the question I have, and as a former employee of General Motors, what does that really mean? Something made. So there's a Honda plant in Ohio, and they make Hondas. So does that, and I know when you think Honda, you think that's a foreign automobile, but if they make them in Ohio, is that really a foreign automobile? And then conversely, I used to drive a Chevy Impala. I know it was made in Windsor, Canada, but I drove it, and we think of Chevrolet as an American automotive, but if it's made in Canada, is it really an American car? I mean, very, very tricky. Really, it's just where it's being assembled. Even then, I could say the Honda that's assembled in Ohio, if all the parts are from overseas, what does that mean? All the parts come overseas, they assemble it here. It's almost like you buy your furniture like from IKEA, the box ships, and you assemble it. You're like, oh, that's US made because we assembled it in the United States. This is where things get tricky. This is where it's interesting to see the markets move today. Because technically, General Motors, and I saw 30% of their cars are assembled outside of the United States, either Mexico or Canada. I imagine is where most of them come from. Conversely, Tesla, a lot of the ones they sell in the United States are made in the United States. So when Trump puts this in for 25%, it actually hurts General Motors and Ford. So I'm going to share my screen and I'll show you what's going on with these stocks. So General Motors stock. So you think I'm going to put in a tariff, cars made outside the United States, and General Motors stock sells off 7%. Like, kind of when you think of the gist of a tariff, it seems like it would help General Motors, which is a U.S. company, but it isn't. And then, so let me pull up Ford. I didn't pull up Ford. I'll pull it up live. Ford is down 3.7%. And now I'm going to look at Tesla. And Tesla's up 2%. So there we go. And just for kicks, let's look at Toyota. I don't even know what their ticker is. Toyota, TM. So Toyota down 3%. So interesting tariffs. And I will say, just on all this tariff talk, it's a negotiation. So whatever's going to happen on April 2nd, and I know that this gets the stock market and everybody wants stocks to go straight up, but this is a negotiation, and what Trump's doing is negotiating. So who knows? He may cut a deal with General Motors and Ford and say, well, if you make your stuff, just if it's assembled over there across the border from the United States, we won't put a tariff on that. Or what it could force is, a General Motors or Ford to say, hey, we'll put our assembly plants in the United States, but we'll put all the plants where we make all the parts, we'll move those over to Mexico and Canada. I mean, there's lots of games around with this. In the long term, once we get to some kind of stability, I'm sure the stock market is going to scream higher because they know what's going on and how to play this. But right now, this is kind of painful, so that's why we're addressing it. So anyways, Corey, what do you think about all that?
I'll tell you what I think. I was driving to basketball practice for my son yesterday. My check engine light came on and took it in this morning, got the report, and the report is that I need to start thinking about what my next vehicle is going to be. So, I mean, what do I need to do, Mike? Do I need to act now? I mean, what do I do?
Well, if you ask Elon Musk what he would say, right?
Yeah.
He'd say
What do you
buy a
say?
Tesla. He'd say buy a Tesla. I'm just kidding. Uh, no, I don't even know. You need to look at. I remember we put in OBD2, whatever, onboard diagnostics, on car engines back in the 90s, and it was like, yeah, that's great. It's going to tell me what's wrong. The problem is it also, tells you all the things to fix. So, anyways, I get it. Automobiles and onboard diagnostics and getting things fixed, painfully expensive. So, I
Woo,
don't
you're
know.
telling me.
I know. Figure out what vehicle you want, and there's lots of. I could go all over the place. I need more details before I give you any advice on which vehicle to buy.
Well, what are you if you had to go buy a new something right now,
If
do
I
you
had to
have your
buy,
eye
okay,
on anything?
well, it's really easy for me. If I had to buy a new anything, shout out to my wife who works for Ford. I'm buying a Ford from my wife because she'll get me a
Whoa.
she'll get me a deal on it.
What if they drop the prices in line with the stock prices? So it's like Ford's down
Oh,
3.6. I could go in
oh
and
yeah,
get me something.
yeah. We could take a look at Ford stock. Ford did
Boom.
not go. They did not go bankrupt in 2008, I don't
They did
believe.
not.
Whereas General Motors did and Chrysler. So I'm trying to pull up the stock for everyone here, or for all the way back.
For
I'm saying
all.
it's
That's a
spinning.
lot of data. It goes way back.
Yeah, back to like the 1930s maybe. I'm not sure why it's taken so long. Wait, here we go. There we go. There's
Oh, there you
there's
go.
Ford stock back to
Boom.
1982. If you bought it in 1982 at $1 a share, you're up to $9. That's probably
You know
acceptable.
what's funny?
If you bought
Um,
if you bought it in the late 90s at $35 a share, you're only down to 9. So it didn't go
geez.
bankrupt.
You know what's funny about a company like Ford, GM, and really all the automakers outside of Tesla? If you look at a PE, like a valuation chart over time, it's gone straight down for a long period of time. So they've gotten cheaper. What is the PE? Yeah, it's trading at a 6. I mean, so that's in the range of like, you're the market says, yeah, you're going bankrupt.
Well,
That's
not necessarily. Well, here you go. So the danger. Well, here's the thing with these companies, especially GM and Ford and Chrysler. Um, well, actually, Chrysler and GM probably wiped theirs out, but Ford has a lot of retirees based off their program, so they are paying retirees whether they're UAW or not. They're getting some sort of pension and healthcare benefits. So I have heard. I didn't make this up myself. I've heard these are really pension, annuity, and healthcare companies that happen to sell cars too. So, anyways, I think Buffett might have said that. Who knows? Okay,
interesting.
well, let's go on to the more exciting world of
Yeah,
our
the
stock.
IPO market.
Yeah, the
Oh yeah,
stock.
no, no,
No,
no.
no,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
got.
yeah. What's the
So,
update?
so yesterday was an overall down market. It was very painful, but we looked at, here was the top picked companies yesterday: Apple, Tesla, Microsoft. How did they do in our brackets? Well, it's going to be ugly. There's a lot of upsets happening here. So let me see if we can make this screen a little bigger. Okay, so here I'm going to take us through. So here's our brackets, and we'll see the names of who advanced. A lot of people took Apple, and they went up against Nextera Energy, which was up, and nobody took Nextera, and Nextera advanced with nobody. Merck versus IBM, Merck advanced. Oracle versus Qualcomm. Qualcomm was down 1.1%, but Oracle was down almost 4. So Qualcomm and Sean advanced. United Health advanced with nobody. Hey, look at this pick. Bank of America down 1.06%, but Morgan Stanley was down 2. So look at my stock advanced. Yay, go Bank of America. Tesla. This was a painful day. Look how many people took Tesla in our group, down almost 6%. Progressive only down 0.69%. Jackie advances with Progressive. David, must be an advisor pick here, picked Coca-Cola, advanced over AT&T, which Corey picked.
AT&T
Eliminated.
is up another 2.5% today. I've gotten
Corey,
that's
this was
terrible.
this was what's called a bad luck loss. Your stock
Yeah,
was up 1.24%, but Coke
yeah,
was up 1.7.
this is
So
rigged.
I know, really. Uber knocks off Broadcom. Broadcom not very popular. Nobody picked the 2 seed. Here we go. Here's a huge upset. Microsoft down 1.3%. Zach took BlackRock and advanced. And strangely enough, I'm using a notebook from BlackRock. Philip Morris advanced. Oh, look at another one of my picks. Goldman Sachs knocks off Netflix. And I was down
Did you put your votes
2.05%.
in before the
I
trading day
did.
or after?
I definitely put them in before.
Oh, okay.
And then MasterCard knocked off ServiceNow. Home Depot, this was the most popular pick that advanced, knocked off American Express. Caterpillar knocks off Eli Lilly. T-Mobile, look at David. He's good 2 for 2. And my wife got this one, even though we don't use T-Mobile. Knocked off Thermo Fisher. And then look at Corey. Berkshire. They advanced. So it
Berkshire's
like
up nicely today too, I think.
doesn't matter today because
It's tomorrow.
today we're on the other side of the brackets. So anyways,
T-Mobile. That's
what I
tough.
thought was really interesting is the 3 most popular picks, Apple, Tesla, and Microsoft, all knocked out. So here's the question. Why do we do this? What can we learn from this? These are the top 64 stocks by market cap, the 64 biggest companies in the United States. And what we see is, and when I look at the other side of the bracket tomorrow, it's the same kind of thing. People gravitate to the Mag 7. They definitely do. So the Mag 7 here, all picked more than anyone else. And, this just shows you that on a day-to-day basis, you really have no idea what's going to happen. The market was down big. Guess what? If the market was up big yesterday, all 3 of these stocks would advance. They're more tied to the market. They go up, they go faster than the market. The long-term trend is the market goes up. If I show you a 50-year graph, the market goes up. On a long-term basis, these are definitely positions to be in. In a short-term basis, it's random luck. The market is down today just a little bit. It's not down like it was yesterday, but it's down a little bit. And I haven't looked and to see how the other stocks, just so we'll show my picks so that nobody can think I cheated. I don't even remember exactly who I took.
Okay.
I took McDonald's and I took JP Morgan Chase. So those are my 2 today. I have no idea what they're going against, but the big picks today, Nvidia is in there, Walmart and Amazon. Those are the big 3 I would say today. So Palantir and Google get honorable mention. So with that, we'll see. So you had what, 1 out of 2 advance?
I had one. I'll take it.
You'll have one. So I had to look up last year. I couldn't even remember. Russ won it, and his main pick was a 5 seed. It was Johnson & Johnson. Went all the way and won the whole thing. So anyways, that's what we got. It's just meant to be fun. Tonight, basketball is back in again. We'll have an update tomorrow on how that's going within our pools. And this is all just to have fun. So turn it over to you. Talk about IPOs.
All right, my friend. Okay. So a little IPO update. A few interesting things. The IPO market has been dry. Mike and I have hit on that. There's a lot of hope, and frankly, there's a bit of a need for the IPO market to heat back up. You're going to see something interesting here. So before we go into the big IPO tomorrow, we're going to hit on the big IPO from a month or so ago. So SailPoint went public a month or so ago. Look at when this company was founded. Well, hold on. First, they provide solutions to enable various identity security for the enterprise. in the Americas, Europe, Middle East, Africa, and the Asia Pacific. So it addresses various types of systems and identities, data and applications, employee identities, non-employee identities. So that kind of, it's security, enterprise security related to identity. This company was founded in 2005. What you're getting, what I'm hearing is that amongst the venture capital, in the venture capital space, there's a growing pressure, not necessarily a need. These companies have been well funded for long periods of time, but there's a growing pressure that, hey, we invested in a seed round a decade or more ago. We are ready to get our return. And because of that, these companies are kind of needing to go public more than they had been. Not as much as the 1990s, but there's a little bit of growing pressure. So SailPoint comes out. The stock went up, went public at 22, went to 26, down to 18, now at 20. You could see it did bounce at its IPO level here in March. And again, it's only been public for a little over a month or so. This is one data point that says, I don't know if investors are as ready for the IPO market to heat up as the insiders are excited to sell. Here's the next one for tomorrow. Now, this one is very interesting. CoreWeave, big IPO. An American cloud computing company based in Livingston, New Jersey. It specializes in providing cloud-based graphics processing unit infrastructure to artificial intelligence developers. Okay, some interesting stuff going on here. Founded in 2017, similar thing. They've been private for a long time. There's a little bit of pressure like, hey, we need to cash out. Some of those insiders are saying we're ready to cash out, get it done. So they're going public. And of course, AI has been so hot, right? The AI boom. If anything should work, it should be CoreWeave. Well, they're having to downsize their IPO in the day before listing and lower their share price that they wanted in the mid 50s down to 40 per share.
Ooh.
At the same time, NVIDIA is having to back up the truck again. NVIDIA already owns part of CoreWeave, and we'll talk about that in a second. NVIDIA is having to throw another 250 million, I think, on top just to make everything whole. Now, CoreWeave, to my understanding, is in a little different situation than Sale was. So, but look at this title. Debut is landmark moment in AI boom. It could kick off an IPO parade. Look at that last bullet point. This is a very important IPO for the overall market. I'm telling you, there is a need. A lot of these venture capitalists are ready to cash out, or at least, get some liquidity, as they say. All right. Now there's some weird stuff going on. This is where some of the skepticism is coming from for CoreWeave. Let me read you this about the relationship between CoreWeave and NVIDIA. NVIDIA is one of CoreWeave's significant customers, reportedly committing to substantial annual spending to rent GPU capacity from CoreWeave's cloud. Remember, NVIDIA also owns a piece of CoreWeave and is buying more too. So they're paying them rent and buying them at the same time. This dynamic creates a feedback loop. NVIDIA sells GPUs to CoreWeave. CoreWeave builds the data center, and then NVIDIA leases the data center back from CoreWeave. So they're both giving revenue to each other, and they both need each other. It's you'll see where it can become problematic. Watch this. So, but additionally, CoreWeave has used NVIDIA GPUs as collateral in innovative financing deals. That's something that people aren't excited about, such as a $2.3 billion debt facility in 2023. Okay, here's the other problem. These GPUs, they're becoming outdated far too quickly. So all of this debt that CoreWeave has taken on, they're not going to be able to get a good return on that capital, at least what it looks like now. I went and looked at their financial statements. I don't like how they've done their balance sheet, but and that's the one on the left. I'll just summarize it and say they do not have a good balance sheet. So they actually need liquidity now from the market. They need this to be a great IPO to shore up their balance sheet. They're funding all this through debt. Look at their revenue though. 15 million in 2022, 230 million in 2023, 1.9 billion in 2024. Revenue accelerating in a very intense way, but look at their losses accelerating all the same. It reminds me of Rivian, right? 31 million loss in 22, 600 million loss in 23, $863 million loss in 2024.
Wow.
CoreWeave is, I wouldn't recommend buying it here at the IPO open. Just my personal opinion.
This looks like a parade that's about to be rained on. I mean, everything you're showing me is, it sounds like NVIDIA is propping this thing up. And, a lot of times in the IPOs, what happens is they'll surge up the first day. It's like, oh, I got it on sale. And you better be ready to sell, because like he showed on Sale Point, if you sold at the end of the first day or two, you ended up. But if you held on, you'd be down. So, but hey, I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow. So
yes, very exciting. And again, for the sake of the IPO market, you'd like to see the market, react positively to this. Oh, the other thing I didn't mention is that the insiders have been dumping shares as well, even
never
like
a good sign.
high up insiders as well. So, I don't know what this means, but you've seen a little pressure on NVIDIA's stock price, I think, the past 2 days. And I think it's some of this realization here that, NVIDIA is not getting the CoreWeave revenue if they're not also supporting CoreWeave in other ways. And
I don't know if it's possible, but I saw they're headquartered in Austin. So Corey, maybe you could do an on the scene. You could do it. No, CoreWeave. Yeah, CoreWeave. It's headquartered in Austin, or maybe it was Sale Point. Maybe it's Sale Point. That's right. You're right. Oh, I was gonna say you go down there.
You want me to drive by and knock on the door?
Yeah, I'm like, how's things going? I just thought I'd check, make sure somebody's here at the office.
Can I get some shares on the cheap? No.
Well, thanks. Yeah, IPOs, they were huge like 3-4 years ago. Everything was going IPO, and there's been some good ones, but if you remember we showed it a while back. When you look at IPOs 3-4 years later, there's a lot of red. I get it. If I was a founder of a company or I was a venture capitalist, I would want to get the money too, right? It'd be like, I'm finally getting my payday for all I've built in a company that, let's say, 20 years ago. So I totally understand that. And it's really a diversification for the owners. So we will see what happens tomorrow with CoreWeave. I think this is fascinating. I can't wait. Tomorrow morning, I'm gonna wake up whenever they get listed. I'm gonna be like watching that thing. But I agree with Corey. I would not be putting money into it. It looks like my prediction, Corey. It's gonna be like this. It might go up a little bit and then it's gonna drop.
It's gonna be very interesting.
But who knows? I could be wrong. I hope for the employees of CoreWeave and the founder that it goes straight up. That'd be great. I hope everybody wins. So. With that, we will turn it off, and good luck on your NCAA picks and your stock picks tomorrow, and we'll have more updates. Have a good one. Bye.